Yerp. Let me know. Let me know if you guys could hear some background sounds. I think we should be good though. Jumper to goat, jumper to goat. What's goody? What's goody? What's goody? That's all you, man. We need you back on the sessions. What the bullshit? That's all you. We need you back on the sessions. I tried giving everybody a few minutes to join, yo. Everybody's still on their BS, man. But to be fair, the two people who are the most active have an 8-hour difference in time zone, so it's all good. But I'll give everybody till 7:10. We'll give everybody 3 minutes, and then we will get started. Any questions in the meantime, let me know. Any specific pairs you guys want me to go over, let me know. The pairs we're going to be going over are the ones you see on the right hand side with the red flag next to their name, starting off with AUD-USD, finishing off with silver. We'll be going in order from the top to the bottom. Pretty much looking through the pairs today, this morning. A lot of pairs just stuck in a pretty small range on the lower time frames. Some other pairs, there's like 2 or 3 pairs that are stuck just in peak highs or peak lows. You know, and then some other pairs are just giving us counter trend moves, making their pullbacks. So it's going to be a lot of waiting that we're going to have to do here for the next couple days, possibly next couple weeks. But it's all good. A lot of pairs are following suit, doing exactly what they got to do. We just got to be patient. That's the name of the game, though. We already know how it goes. So just got to be patient, wait for the market to give us an opportunity, and then take the opportunity when it's given to us. But again, any questions, let me know. We'll give everybody another 2 minutes to join. The trend is your friend, man. They've heard a lot about that in the last couple sessions that we've done. There's been a lot of new people who've joined us, you know, and the usual question that we would always get, oh, why don't you trade pullbacks? Why don't you trade, you know, why are you only looking for shorts, whatever, etc., etc. Oh, why aren't you looking at this pair? You know, and it's a pair that's just in a huge zone of consolidation. And this, the most simplest way we could put it, going back to the basics, going back to day one, the trend is your friend. If I don't see a pair that's trending, what is there to trade? What is there to trade? The trend is your friend. I'm gonna say like the last fucking 10 sessions maybe that I've done, from the weekly market breakdown to the live trading sessions to the isolation session, that has come up a lot. If you're not in the trend, you're not my friend. Exactly. Trend is your friend. If there's no trend, there's no trade. That's it. It's that simple, man. You gotta... Something I've been trying to make everybody understand is you gotta make trading super simple, right? And the information you're gonna have to learn, especially if you're a beginner trader, somebody who's never seen the charts before, all the information is not that it's difficult information, is that it's a lot. It's a lot of information. It's going to take a lot of time to be able to see exactly what it is that you want to see at the times that you got to see it. But one thing that is super simple is being able to see when a trend is happening on an uptrend or on a downtrend. The simplest thing you can see is price moving sideways or is price trending? If there's no trend, there's no trade. Keep it simple. Right? You know, I could use a pretty good example for today on US 30. Right? And it's, you know, there's 2 ways we could go about it, which is what I was saying this morning in one of the one-on-one sessions that I had. Right? Which is, you know, if you're a little bit more of an advanced trader and I had already deleted the drawings and everything, but this is something that I was talking about, especially for this morning, right? We don't have to go too into detail with it, but for somebody who's more advanced, today's trade right at the NYC Open, and the entry that was given to us, which was on the 15-minute time frame, the bottom of the zone of consolidation at 8 o'clock gave us a little inducement of the lows. After the inducement, gave us a beautiful engulfing candle with a beautiful entry, zero drawdown, straight into TP. Right, we had that gap. Price went back to the top of the zone of consolidation. For a more advanced trader, this is a very simple setup. But if it's your first time on the charts, or if you're not comfortable enough on the charts to understand that, in a zone of consolidation, especially when you're trading US 30, or whatever trade, it doesn't even matter what period you're trading, in a zone of consolidation, if STP is above the zone of consolidation, you have to understand, you have to get out at the top of the zone of consolidation. Right? If not, exactly what happened here. You're going to get faked out, going to go straight into stop loss, or right back into break even. Then you're going to say, oh shit, the reversal is going to happen, and you start getting into short positions, and then it goes right back to the top side. Right? So keep trading simple. What is price doing on US 30? It's in a zone of consolidation. It's ranging. It's moving sideways. Is there a trend? No. Hashtag the trend is your friend. If there's no trend, don't take the trade. It's that simple. It's that simple. Wait for the breakouts. Wait for the trends to start happening. Wait for price to do exactly what it needs to do, and then get into the trade. Right? So it's just something, a lot of people, their rebuttal is, oh, but what if there's no pairs that are trending? Then there's no trade, yo. There's no trade. There's no trade. There's a reason, again, there's a reason you go on social media and all these losers have today they're winning and tomorrow they're losing what they won today, and then the next day they're losing again, and then the next day they win, and then the next day they lose. There's a difference between a trader that has a 80%, 90% win rate compared to a trader that has a 20%, 30%, 40% win rate. It's a huge difference. That trader that's still stuck, either not profitable or still has a shitty win rate, that's the difference between, I'll say it, a real trader compared to a fake trader. It's just really how it is. So, what's good, Albert? Welcome to the stream, my brother. Good evening, good evening. Wanted to give everybody a few more minutes, man, but looks like everybody is asleep already, so I'll give everybody a few more minutes, and then we will get started. If there's no questions in the chat, again, I'm not gonna waste too much of my time. We had a really good session. The last session we did was a really good session. A lot of gems in there, a lot of things were talked about, especially in the first hour of the stream was really good. So if there's no question in the chat, I'm gonna just mark my charts the way I would do it if I would do it myself. If there's information that I need to give, anything that we haven't really talked about in the last couple of days, then I'll go ahead and stop and do what we got to do, talk about it, give the explanations. But if not, if there's no questions, the session really shouldn't take longer than 35-40 minutes. So again, use this time wisely, guys. I already told you guys, these next couple of days, next couple of weeks, until I'm back home, I'm gonna keep these very, very simple. All right, no questions. Perfect. No problem. Let's get started again. Going to be a pretty quick session. For the people watching the recording, if you guys have any questions, you could always leave your questions in the comment section below, or you could message me on Discord. You guys already know I'm active on Discord pretty much all day, so if you have any questions, just let me know. We had a pretty good weekly market breakdown, so the first pair of the night, like we always do, I'm gonna go over AU from the top to the bottom. For the most part, I'm pretty sure we wouldn't have to update our daily time frame or our 4 hour time frame, our highs and lows. There's only like two pairs, I think, or three pairs. I think maybe just two that had the third week continuations. So we'll talk about those pairs once we get to it. All these other pairs, once again, I'm pretty much just gonna update the 30-minute time frame, talk about the 30-minute time frame. So let's get it going. So AU, we know we are at the top of A2. A2 is a second zone consolidation on a downtrend. We're back at the top. We know we're looking for our safety trades here at the highs. Price gave us an inducement of the daily high. Now on the lower time frames, we know we want to start seeing price make lower lows and lower highs. As we talked about in the weekly market breakdown as well, AU is still a pair that I'm being a little bit more cautious with because on the 4 hour time frame, we are still making higher highs and higher lows. So it's again very simple. Again, for me, it's very simple. If the higher time frames are making higher highs and higher lows, why would I take a short position without having extra confirmations, right? Why would I take a short position on a pair that's still making higher highs and higher lows, right? A lot of people always ask, oh, why do you deem or how do you deem some entries low probability versus high probability? And AU is a really good example of that, right? There was a lot of people in our chat during the weekly market breakdown. They were like, oh, AU could be a really good pair to continue to look for shorts and look for shorts going down to the 0.700 area, right? And the question and the answers that we were given were like, oh, because we have at the top of the zone of consolidation a shoulder head shoulder. This is where price is going to give us that short position, and then we'll start seeing price just continue to trend lower, right? And yes and no, right? Because the number one thing, right? Again, the number one thing we want to focus on is market structure. Before you look for an entry, before doing anything like that, the first thing you want to see is market structure. The fact that price is still making higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, this is still an area where the market makers could 100% still be trapping traders, making you believe that this is where price is going to go short to then go up and hit your stop losses. And today there was two really good examples of what we talked about, and we'll go through it. So on the daily time frame, there was nothing. Everything was given on the 4 hour and on the 30-minute time frame, and we'll go through the steps one by one. So the number one thing that we saw, which happened at 4 or 5 in the morning today, was on the 4 hour time frame, price had given us an engulfing candle. And again, this is very similar to what we talked about on the weekly market breakdown, but I'm going to give you guys step by step how it is that I look at my charts and how I go about understanding and being able to see low probability entry models versus high probability entry models, right? So the number one thing we saw was, all right, on the 4 hour time frame, we know we have an engulfing candle, and I'm going to mark it with a highlighter here so we can go down into the lower time frame as well, right? So we have that 4 hour engulfing candle. Now, looking at market structure, once again, we have higher high, higher low, higher high. Understanding that this pushed to the bottom side on the 4 hour time frame, and once we go into the 30-minute time frame too, this push to the bottom side isn't price telling us, oh, we're starting the downtrend. This is price telling us that price is moving from a higher high point down into a higher low point, right? We had higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Now, why was I seeing this as a low probability 4 hour engulfing candle, which is here, is because again, on the 4 hour time frame, this is a bearish engulfing candle. On the 4 hour time frame, we are still bullish. We are still on an uptrend. Above everything else, what do we see on the 30-minute? right? We'll go back to what we were talking about on the weekly market breakdown that everybody was calling out. Oh, but we have a shoulder head shoulder pattern. And on the shoulder head shoulder pattern, we want to see a valid break below those lows. Which, okay, cool, right? Below the first shoulder, cool. Did we get a valid break technically of the shoulder head shoulder? Yes, technically we did. However, in order for the trend to shift from a uptrend down to a downtrend, we want to make sure that we have the change of character, and we also want to make sure that price gives us a valid break of structure after the change of character. Notice how at 10 in the morning price came down, right? So we'll mark this up again here. We had higher high, higher low, right? We had talked about how because we had these candles and these wicks, I wasn't going to mark this as higher high, higher low, higher high. No, all of this is part of the same trend. Then price gave us a lower low change of character. Then price gave us a lower high, which was during the Asia session of Monday. Then the market close going into Tuesday, price gave us a lower low. However, this lower low that was created, right, the break of structure that we wanted to see, did price give us a valid break of structure? No. Why? Because this red candle here, right, yes, even though it closed below, is still touching the break of structure line. The next candle that printed, which is this red candle, yes, even though it closed below the initial red candle, even though it closed below it, what is it doing? It had a wick. Let me go ahead and delete this yellow line, right? It had that wick still touching the break of structure line. So we know that this was still an inducement. Our number one confirmation to let us know that this 4-hour bearish candle was low probability and we knew that price wasn't going to continue the downtrend push was because price never gave us that valid break of structure. And as soon as price came into that engulfing candle, it went straight to stop loss. Being able to analyze whether a trade is high probability versus low probability, is going to be easier. We'll say it like this. It's going to be a lot easier to not get into those trades that you know aren't going to work out. And again, these rules that we're talking about, it's the same with every entry model. Whether you're trading engulfing candles, fair value gaps, order blocks, turtle soup, if you're trading the simple double tops, double bottoms, triple tops, flag post patterns, right? Whether you're trading trend lines, it's all the same thing. If you're trading fib retracements, it's all the same thing. If you're trading the EMAs, it's all the same thing. Every entry model follows the same setup when it comes to when you're putting market structure within it. If a specific pair isn't following what you want to see when it comes to market structure, you already know that that entry is low probability. Right? Let me know if that made sense in the chat. And again, there's not a lot of people here, so I'm gonna give you guys 1 minute in the chat. Let me know if all of that made sense. So again, AU today, yo, exactly what we talked about in the weekly market breakdown. It doesn't get more simple than that. It doesn't. It really doesn't get more simple than this. And we talked about this. This isn't in hindsight. This isn't me talking about it like, oh, he knows what the market is going to do, of course, because he saw it. No, this is something that we talked about on Sunday. We talked about this weekend before the market even opened. And I gave you guys the drawing and everything and the explanations. Tell me I'm wrong. I gave you guys everything. I told you guys, this is already for me. I already know what's going to happen. The first thing we want to see is that valid break when it comes to the market structure on the 30-minute time frame. Without that, there's no point in chasing these trades going short because we have no confirmation that price is going to continue these downtrend pushes. We have no confirmation. We don't have anything. Every single time frame aside from the 30-minute is still uptrending. So again, market structure is very simple. why would you get into a short position, right? Why would you get into a short position when every single pair, or when every single time frame is making higher highs and higher lows? It's very simple. If market structure is making higher highs and higher lows, which we all understand and we all know that higher highs and higher lows is an uptrend structure, why would you be looking for short positions? Instead of waiting for price to start making lower lows and lower highs, lower lows and lower highs, and then look for those short positions. Everybody wants to be that trader that catches it, oh, at the tippity top, because you want to look cool on social media. But unfortunately, looking cool isn't going to get you paid. Right? You're going to take that screenshot first before cashing out, and then you come back and you lost 50 pips. Right? So Albert says it makes sense. Perfect. And again, these are things that we talked about this weekend already. It doesn't get easier. It really doesn't. It really doesn't get easier. So we already understood the shoulder entry, the EMA entries. Oh, but we have the 50 crossing below the 200 and we're in level 3 and we want to see price bounce off the 50 EMA. And at the 50 EMA, we also had the engulfing candle. And we already have the confirmation that these entries, right, during the NYC session, we already knew, right? Even if you're a lower time frame trader, because there's a lot of, go look at Instagram, go look at Twitter, right? How many traders lost on AU today taking these short positions thinking, oh, we have a flag post pattern on the 1 minute, on the 5 minute time frame to continue to go short? There's so many traders, right? We did the research, one of the last streams that we did a couple of weeks ago, where we went on Forex Factory and we saw the we saw how many people were in a specific trade. I forgot what pair it was. I don't remember if it was, I think it was EU, or it might have been AU. It was either EU or AU. I don't remember. And what, over 90% of traders were trading the opposite way, and all of those traders got hit out. It was a crazy number, like 20,000 traders were in buy positions. I think it was AU, if I'm not mistaken. All of them got faked out. Why? Because the market did exactly what it did today. It's going to give you those false confirmations. It's going to give you double. The market is always going to give you double bottoms. The market is always going to give you double bottoms. The market is always going to give you double tops. The market is always going to be printing double bottoms and double tops every single day, right? Double tops always. At all times of the day, it doesn't matter. The question is, which one is high probability and which ones are low probability? And again, as a trader, if you're not able to distinguish between low probability trades and high probability trades, you cannot call yourself a trader. You're better off telling people that you gamble for a living. You're a professional gambler, is what you should tell people. Because there's no difference between going to a slot machine and just putting in your money and continuing to crank the fucking whatever that's called on a slot machine at a casino, and taking trades without understanding market structure or without understanding high probability and low probability. So you cannot call yourself a trader if these things don't make sense. You can't. Because if I go and I ask you, why did you take the trade that you took? And you give me some bullshit answer. Oh, because my entry was there. Okay, but what's your entry? Why is that your entry? What are your rules when you follow your entry? If you don't have those things written down, and you don't backtest what your entry model is, and you don't understand to the full extent why you took the trade, whether you won or lost, it doesn't matter. Because when you get back on the charts tomorrow, are you following the same rules that you've been following every single time you trade? Or does your trade look different every single time you take a trade? And that's key. Longevity in trading, that's key. The only way you're going to be, again, if being a trader is something you want to do as a career, You have to be able to answer those questions. You have to be able to understand why you took a trade and why you didn't take a trade. You have to understand there is no other way around it. In trading, and E will tell you guys if he's still in the chat, it's either you know it or you know it. There's no in between. There is no in between. You, when you're trading live, you don't have time to go back and look at your notes, and you don't have time for that. You're going to miss your entry, right? You're going to be scrambling, trying to find your notes, trying to figure out whether you should take the trade or not. If you do not know your rules, and I've said this many, many, many times, if I go up to you in public and I ask you what your name is, you're going to tell me right away. It's the same way in trading. If you don't know the information, when you're going and you're looking for your entry, if you don't know the information at a fast rate, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. So again, not gonna stop with every single pair. This is already enough information for you guys. It's kind of like, again, and I've said this even from last year, like, trading is a repetitive cycle. The same information you're seeing today, you're going to see it tomorrow, you're going to see it next week, you're going to see it next year. Yeah, different market conditions, we could argue and say there's different market conditions. Cool, of course. There's certain things in trading that do change over time, right? But again, as a trader, you have to understand, and I'll give you guys a little insight, not even insight, but I'll give you guys a little piece of information that kind of bothered me a couple days ago. I had a trader, again, I don't even want to call him a trader, but there's a guy that's online that trades, and he messages me every so often. And his question yesterday, again, remember, yesterday was a bank holiday, right? Yesterday's a bank holiday. His question to me, and not only to me, but then he also publicly posted this online. Why isn't gold moving? Why aren't pairs moving today? There's no volume on the charts. Why did I take this trade and nothing happened? And I asked him, I'm like, yo, is this like a genuine question? Or like, are you like dead ass asking this question today? Or is it just for views? Is it just to piss people off and have people respond to you? He was dead ass. He was dead ass serious with that question. He's like, nah, bro, like, genuinely, like, I don't know why I enter a trade and then all of a sudden price stopped moving. Like, yo, as a fucking trader, and you've been trading for, him specifically, he's been trading for 5 years. If you're 5 years into this game and you're still asking those stupid ass questions, like, I was at a loss for words. It's just like, you're not understanding that after 5 years of trading, consistently too, let's add that to it, that during a bank holiday, there's going to be less volume or no volume at all, especially if you're trading. USD was the bank holiday yesterday, especially if you're trading a pair that's USD. And like, part of me, like, this is the reason why I get upset, because it's just like, how am I supposed to answer that? The good side of me, of course, I messaged them like, hey, listen, there's a website that tells you whenever there's news. And I sent him the link, forexfactory.com. But it's like, these are tools that everybody, not even that, fucking TradingView tells you right here. Like, TradingView has it in front of your face that tells you, hey, there's news at this time. Hey, there's news at this time. It's there. So it's like, even if you don't know forexfactory.com, everybody uses TradingView. It's right in front of your face. So I don't know. I just wanted to add that to it because, again, like, there's just certain things that, again, part of me is like, yo, this is why this shit gives me a headache, man. This shit really gives me a headache. I don't know. It kind of kills my vibe because I care a lot about it. And there's a conversation I had with Kendall. I'm like, yo, the passion I had for gaming, I have it now on the charts. And it's like it's the same thing, it just looks differently. Like when I see my teammates, somebody who's been playing the fucking video game for X amount of years, right? Like, why are you rotating to the next hill, hitting a lane that you know doesn't work? Like, seeing people make mistakes that I know they shouldn't be making, just, it rubs me the wrong way. And again, it's different if you were somebody who just started playing the game yesterday, right? It's different if you just started trading 2 hours ago. But yo, 5 years, 8 years, and you're still making rookie mistakes? It's kind of crazy. That's, for me, that's just, you doing that is telling me that you have no intentions behind looking at the charts. You're literally just sitting at your computer, pressing buying and sell, and that's it. You're doing no research. You have no intentions behind what you're trying to do. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's just like, wow. Every single day, I swear to God, and I'm so dead ass. Every single day, there's something in the community. There's something I see online. There's something that somebody sends me, whether it's a student or not, that I have to just sit there for 2 minutes, reread the question, and just scratch my head. And it's like, is this like, for real? Is this like a dead serious question that I'm being asked right now? Or like, are people just doing this to piss me off? It's really like that for me. So sometimes you gotta be patient. I'm glad Eric took me through the beginning because I knew nothing. Yo, E would be the best one to go to. I've said this to a lot of students too. I'm like, yo, in the beginning stages, I just, I've gotten a lot better at it. I'm not gonna lie to you, especially now, like these last couple months. We've had a lot of new people come in, so I've done a lot better at being able to like be patient and not crash out as much as I want to. And you guys know I fucking crash out. That's just me. But it's because again, I also understand, like, I was a beginner trader before too. I was the one asking questions, and he would tell you, like, I will call him at whatever time of the day if I had a question. If I took a loss that I shouldn't have taken, I'm calling him to be like, yo, what the fuck did I do wrong? So I get it. I was that person when I first started trading. But at the same time, and I also understand that not everybody has that personality. Like, at the same time, my intentions behind trading, the way I approach trading, how I approached the learning process of it as well, was very intentional. Like, again, just the way that I came about what I call an engulfing candle. And you guys will see that nobody explains engulfing candles the way that I do. And that's something that is like, took me months of back testing. And back at home, I have the notebook where it was one of those days where I'm like, yo, why does price pull back to these areas specifically? Besides the pullbacks that we get based on ADR, besides the fact that this is where price gave us a retest, besides the fib retracement, there has to be something else. And that something else for me was the candlesticks. And that's how I came about, yo, an engulfing candle. This is what an engulfing candle is. And I went and I backtested the engulfing candles on every single pair. It wasn't just one pair. It wasn't just 2-3 pairs. It was every single pair, from the majors to the minors to the exotics to the commodities to the indexes. I even did it on the fucking what's it, on corn, beans, whatever that's called, right? I think that's also commodities, right? So my again, when I'm looking at the charts, I always have the intention behind it. I always have a reason as to why. What am I looking for and why? So again, even when it came to the low probability and high probability, that was something that made more sense, which is something that we all learn subconsciously, right? Because it's very simple. To keep the definition of low probability and high probability very simple, if price is making higher highs and higher lows, and you're taking a short position when price is making higher highs and higher lows, you already know that's a low probability trade, and vice versa, right? If price is making lower lows and lower highs, and you're taking a long position, you know that's a low probability trade because the market structure is still downtrending, right? That's the easiest way to explain it to somebody. So as a beginner who knew nothing, I thought the market was open 24/7 until I learned the basic thing. One can't jump to greater things without going through the base. Absolutely. And that's something that E and myself, E was the first one to say it, and he's always said it, even to me, even to all the students that he's had since, 2014, 2015, right? E would be the best one to tell you, and I'll be the second one to tell you because I went through it, right? It wasn't like I jumped into trading and he taught me 372s right away. I was learning the market maker's pattern for what, 3-4 months before I even started learning entry models. It was like a year. It took me about a year to even learn entry models. And I'll give you another example. The type 1, type 2, and type 3s. Again, when I started learning how to trade, I was still in high school. This is why I still remember this like it was yesterday. It was 2017. I remember this shit because I used to go to my first period class. My first period class was entrepreneurship. You already know that fucking teacher loved me. Because that was my favorite fucking class too. At that time, yeah, it was 2016, 2017, because that's when I first started my first business as well. And in that class, the first 45 minutes of that class, I was on my charts. My teacher already knew, and he knew I was gonna get the work done too, because I was doing shit that I wanted to do. I was trading, I was starting the business. At that time, I don't gotta give you my whole story. What I'm trying to say is, I was in 2016, 2017. You know when he told me about type 1s, type 2, and type 3 patterns? It was like 2021, 2022. And I remember the fucking day that he showed me, like, he was like, oh, by the way, I'm gonna teach you something right now. Never taught you this before. We're talking about 4 fucking years, 5 years after the fact was when he taught me type 1, type 2, and type 3 entry models. And that's when I really started taking really good entries, was when he taught me that entry model. So think about it. So again, 100%. But that's one thing that a lot of traders and a lot of people, again, not traders, just a lot of people have a very hard time understanding that before we could even teach you any type of entry models, you need to understand the basics. And the basics is market maker's pattern and market structure. Because again, you can't take an entry without understanding where the market is moving and why. Because if you don't see where the market is moving and why it's moving in that direction, you're trading blindly. You have no reason to take a trade if you don't know where the price is going to move to. It's that simple. So, and again, it's a lot of information, It's a lot of information. And of course, over the years, there's, we've learned a lot, especially myself, to where it's like, we could kind of give a little bit more information early on to get people to understand the basics. But at the end of the day, again, if something that's simple, which is just the chart vision, if you can't see a significant pullback compared to one that's not a significant pullback, that's just part of the same trend, that's not really something that we could teach. That's something that we could show you and we could give you the reasons as to why. But then when you get on the charts and you try to do it yourself, you're going to make the mistake as a beginner trader, and you're going to say, oh, well, this is a pullback. And it's like, no, that's just part of the same trend, right? Same thing that we just explained on AU. Like, why am I not saying that this is a pullback? Even though it looks like it's a pullback, you could see it higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Like, why am I not marking this as higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower? None of that is significant pullbacks. The way the candlesticks are, the way this wick is printed, like, there's no point in us marking this as higher high, higher. Like, this is a point in the market where the market makers are just trapping traders. This entire area, right? This entire area. So keep it simple. But this is something where, again, if you don't have the chart vision, you're going to mark it as higher high, higher low. And you're not even going to know where to mark up, you know, where are the lows. You're going to use this wick. You're going to use this candle that moved fucking 70, 80 pips as your, you know, it moved 50 pips. You're going to use this as your low. We already know a wick. This is the imbalance in the market. Right, these crazy wicks that are, and this is good. I could have used this as an example in one of the one-on-one sessions I had today. I didn't give them the example of AU. I gave them the example of EA, I believe it was, or ECAT on the daily time frame. Right, but what do we also know about these wicks, these imbalance, these moves that happen, the imbalance move? We also understand these are gaps in the market. We know price has to come back down and fill the gaps up. Right, so again, those are certain things that comes with time. Right, once you develop your chart vision enough, and he has said it to me, right, in order for you to be, I'm not going to say a master at something, there's another word for it, but in order for you to be efficient in something that you're doing, you need minimum 10,000 hours, right? If you don't have 10,000 hours on one particular thing, you haven't done enough. You're not going to be efficient. And 10,000 hours, do the math. How many hours are in a year? And for a lot of people, and I say it specifically for the people in our group, 99% of you guys trade for an hour, maybe 2 hours a day. And I'm saying in general, trading, back testing, doing the sessions, updating your charts, a lot of you guys just do it for an hour, maybe 2 hours a day. How long until you reach the 10,000 hour mark? And that was something that, again, E told me from the beginning. I took that shit like literal. I took it literal. I wasn't on my charts for 2 hours a day. But I also understand, and we've talked about this before in the last couple sessions that we've done, not everybody has the amount of time that I had when I was learning how to trade, especially in 2021 and 2022 and 2023. Not a lot of people could put in 12, 14, 16 hours a day on the charts. Right? And you guys saw it. Somebody else in the chat came in a couple days ago and said, like, yo, how are you on the charts for that long? It doesn't mess up your brain, your mental health? Like, number one, that shit's fake, right? But that's another conversation for another time. So it's a lot, man. It's a lot of information. It's a lot of information. It's a lot of information that you're going to need to know. And again, trading is something I've always said it. Like, if somebody like Adrian, who's a doctor, understands that you're not going to be a good doctor unless you put in the hours to be able to be a good doctor, especially a surgeon. Right? You're not going to be a good lawyer unless you put in the hours that you need to be a good. You could be a dog shit lawyer, right? You could be a dog shit surgeon, right? Like the surgeon who fucked up my finger when I cut it when I was 14 years old. And you could be that doctor that's like, oh, you cut your finger, let's just stitch it back on without doing x-rays, without seeing if the bone is broken. You could be a fucking surgeon and be a horrible ass surgeon, 100%. Right? But what's the difference between a surgeon doing a dog shit job compared to a surgeon who's a high ranking surgeon? And it doesn't matter what hospital you're in, people are looking for you because they know that you know the information. It's the same thing in trading. Right? How do you compare a trader who's a good trader compared to a bad trader? You look at their win rate, you look at their stats. Like, cool, you made $1 million. Let's look at your trade history. Let's go look at um your FX book. Let's go see what your win rate is. Like, I don't care that you made $1 million. You probably got lucky, most likely. Not only that, we just that's another conversation we could hop on. But there's a reason why a lot of these traders are good at marketing, and they need to be good at marketing because they need to make their money. The way they make 90% of the cash that they have is by selling courses, selling merchandise, promoting affiliate codes. But again, that's a different conversation and a conversation for another time. So, anyway, we've already been talking for an hour. So once again, unless we got to talk about something that we need to talk about, I'll talk about it. If not, once again, we're just going to keep updating our 30-minute time frame. EA, we know we had a 372 going into this week, but we already knew Monday we had a bank holiday, so we already knew low probability. Like, we already knew that we're not going to get these entries. We already knew it. Right, so we had a day of drop on Monday, then today gave us a second day of drop. We're still trading between the same area. All we have is a little change of character, higher high. Price never gave us the break. We've just been moving sideways for the last couple days. Nothing to update here on EA. ECAD, same thing. Price is moving sideways. Nothing to trade. The trend is your friend, right? ECAD is also a pair that currently we're still in peak high territory. I think ECAD, didn't we say we were going to turn this one off? Let me confirm real quick. Yeah, I'm gonna turn this one off. I'm not gonna be trading ECAD, but I'm gonna keep updating it, obviously. Nothing to update on the 4 hour, the daily. There's no continuations. 30-minute time frame. Look at the 30-minute time frame. What are we doing? Moving sideways. And again, just like E said in the beginning of the stream, same thing I've been saying for the last couple months. The trend is your friend. What is price doing? Moving sideways. What the fuck are we going to trade here? Nothing. Nothing. Go to the next pair. It's that simple. It really is that simple. For EU, we're moving counter trend still. We're at the highs of the daily time frame. We already know I'm not trading counter trends, so there's nothing for me here on EU, man. Nothing. We had a day of no net today, just to confirm again on the daily time frame. Where are we? What are we doing? We're at the top of the daily highs. So 3 months of rise already. We already know this month price is gonna move sideways or go down. No continuations on the 4 hour. We're chilling. We're chilling. We're at the highs on an overall uptrend. It's nothing to trade. Unless we have a continuation of 372 on the 30-minute time frame, I have nothing to trade. GA is another pair. Could we finally start saying that we're starting the overall downtrend? I'm going to wait it out. Before I trade GA, I'm going to wait it out. I like that the daily time frame, we have that change of character that we finally have, right? We made the lows. I'm not going to update our daily lows just yet until we have a confirmed low, just in case price wants to continue to trend lower. We have a 3rd week low as well for this week on GA, and this is looking good, right? Monday, price decided just to move sideways, and then today, price gave us that drop. We have 2 days of drop as well. Could we be looking for a 372? Absolutely. Price has not given us that 372 just yet. So GA is definitely a pair on my watch list for tomorrow. This is going to be a pair that we're going to keep an eye on. Let's see, do we have any engulfing candles? Nothing on the 4, nothing on the 1 hour, nothing on the 30-minute, on the 15-minute time frame, nothing on the 15. This is going to be a pair on the 5-minute time frame, 1-minute time frame that we want to continue to keep an eye on. Oh shit, my phone's on do not disturb. Give me 1 second, guys. Just to confirm where we're at. Hold on. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So still no engulfing candles on the 5-minute either. Technically, we have an engulfing candle here on the 5-minute, but I don't think, obviously, there's a very, very steep pullback. At this point, STP would be hit if we move all the way to the top side. So I'm not expecting price to give us that pullback that high up. We would be in level 1 on a downtrend. So we know we're looking for price to bounce off the 50 EMA. right? We're far from it on the daily and the 4 hour. On the 30-minute, we're right on it, right? It looks, or we're close to it. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on it. 15-minute, we're right on it. We're already above it on the 5 minutes. So I'll be looking for an entry on GA, right? Possibly a small little type 1 pattern could happen. Price consolidates a little bit, goes above, gives us that something like this is what I'll be looking for on GA. And we'll keep it drawn out, yo. Maybe, so people don't come to me tomorrow, oh, you're a hindsight trader. All right, buddy. Been doing this shit for too long, man. Go find another hobby. So GA is one on our watch list. GCAD, let me go to the daily time frame real quick. Where are we? Just moving sideways. We're in the middle of the zone of consolidation on the daily time frame. You already know. Where are we? Middle of the zone of consolidation. Why does that matter? The middle of the zone of consolidation is the area where the market makers are going to be trapping traders. Perfect. Once you already understand where you're at and what happens in the areas that you're trading in, trading gets so much more simple. You think I'm going to fucking be taking trades on GCAD? Absolutely not. On to the next pair. It's that simple. It's really that simple for me. I know I don't even have to wake up tomorrow and stress about what pairs I'm going to look at and all the trades and the entries. Yo, middle of the zone of consolidation. Where is the market makers going to trap traders at the most? The middle of the zone of consolidation. Perfect. You already know where you're at. You already know the behavior of the market in the area that you're at. Why are you going to force a trade? There's no need. I'm good. Again, me personally, I'm good. I already know a zone of consolidation is an area in the market where the market makers are trapping traders, inducing traders to get into a trade to hit their stop losses. I already understand the definition of a zone of consolidation. I already know the behaviors of a zone of consolidation. So why would I be taking trades in a zone of consolidation before the break or before the inducement? Why? There's no point. There's no point. For me, again, personally, for me, there's no point. I'm not going to force a trade. I don't care. It's that simple. Again, the trend is your friend. If there's no fucking trend, there's no trade. There's nothing. So I'm okay with letting price move. I'm okay with waking up tomorrow, looking at the charts, seeing that there's nothing to trade, and I'm okay with turning off my computer and doing it again the next day. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Why? Because I understand that, again, this year I've only taken 4 trades. I'm 4-0. You guys have my trading journal for last year. I'm already 4-0 for the year. And all my trades this year have been US 30. You think I'm going to cry over the fact that GCAD is, that I don't have a trade? Yo, I'm okay. I'm okay. US 30 trades, 4-0 for the year, I'm good. Very similar to what happened last year. Very similar. You guys don't remember, last year we went on a crazy streak with gold and US 30. I don't need a trade every single day because I understand that the one trade I take, yo, it's a good payout. It's a good day. I don't need to trade every single day. I don't need to force trades every day. Why? Because I understand the trades that I'm going to take are going to be A+ setups. I know that every single time I get on the chart and I'm looking for an entry, if that entry is given, yo, I have a 95% win rate. Or what's the word I'm looking for? I have a 95%. There's a 95% chance that I'm winning the trade, right? That's the best way I could put it. And it's moving weird, and we already hit STP for the day. Was there? There was news already, right? Let's look at these pairs again real quick. Or there was NZD news, I think. That's what I didn't do today, though. I didn't look at Forex Factory, so we'll do that when we're done with the session. We're pretty much already done. I already told you guys too in the past. US 30 gold, Bitcoin, oil, silver. We'll update them obviously here on the stream. I'm not gonna talk about them. I'm not gonna give my analysis on them. These are pairs that I've been in the morning in the live trading sessions. If we see an entry or if we see a reason to talk about it, we'll talk about it in the morning. Gold has been a pair that's been moving as soon as the markets open. It's just been like that for the last couple months now. So that's just another reason why I don't really talk about gold anymore on the isolation sessions. This is also a pair with a 372. That 372 has been hit already. Um, so we're pretty much done for the day, guys. You know, Bitcoin, same thing. We've been stuck in a pretty nice zone of consolidation for the last couple weeks. So we're just waiting that out. Oil, we're waiting for that pullback to be given. Once we start trending back down to the bottom, that's when I'll start trading it. But again, very similar to the other pairs, pretty much just stuck in a zone of consolidation where we're rejecting the lows, rejecting the highs, rejecting lows. So we'll wait it out for oil. And then silver, very similar to gold. Just gonna wait it out. So that's pretty much it, guys. Pretty good session though. We had a lot of gems, a lot of things that we talked about. Good hour, nothing too crazy. Any questions, let me know. Any specific pairs you guys want me to go over again, let me know. Anything you guys want me to go over again, explain, let me know. If there's no questions, then we'll be back again tomorrow. I'll let you guys know in the Discord if we'll be trading in the morning. And we'll go on from there, guys. If not, then I hope you guys have a good rest of your night, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Well, I'm lying. Tomorrow's my sister's birthday, so 90% chance that there's not going to be a single stream tomorrow, and we'll be back again on Thursday. Right, tomorrow's Wednesday. Yeah, we'll be back on Thursday. And real quick, Forex Factory. There was NZD news now at 8. There's more NZD news at 9. High impact. And then tomorrow we have USD news FOMC at 2 p.m. So you guys already understand. Like, there's really not going to be trading anything. So we'll be back on Thursday, right? And then Thursday, pretty clean day. We have unemployment claims at 8:30 in the morning, and then it's a Chinese bank holiday tomorrow. Well, Thursday going into Friday. So, all right. Hope you guys have a good rest of your night. We'll see you later. Peace out.